So, welcome to Enter the Nerd. This is Gershon. Now, we're going to be talking today about the Snyder Cut. Now, the Snyder Cut, if you don't know, is the original cut from Zack Snyder of the 2017 movie Justice League. So, he finished around 90% of it before having a personal tragedy which made him have to step away from the production. And then Joss Whedon was brought in to finish reshoots and just pretty much the rest of the film. So, you might ask, alright, so what was so wrong with the Justice League film that there has to be a Snyder Cut, or who wants it? And how are we here talking about original director's cut coming out right now? Well, let's get into all that stuff. So first we have to be honest. The Justice League movie really was not very good, right? Now, we can talk about it in a couple of different ways. We can talk about the distraction, funny enough, about the Henry Cavill's mustache or lack thereof, which was like a nuisance, right? But if that was the only thing wrong with it, I don't think we'd be talking about this right now. And also maybe the fact that some of the most important characters that were getting built up in prior movies got like shit to the side, which was like, Flash and Cyborg. And what about the biggest elephant in the room, which is the tone? So Zack Snyder has been known, especially for Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, to have a much darker tone, just visually, like darker movies, and even just like the subject matter. And Justice League was literally the exact opposite, very bright, bubbly, if you would, very Marvel. So it's not a coincidence that it seemed like a Marvel film, because the person who reshot and finished Justice League was obviously Joss Whedon, who directed Avengers and Avengers Age of Ultron. So it's not a surprise that he would make a superhero ensemble film very humorous, very bright, because it's what he's done in the past. The only issue with that is that if you look at Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman, regardless of how you feel about those movies, obviously there's a lot of mixed opinions about that, rightfully so, you know that those movies were not going to lead to the Justice League that we received. There were a lot of things that they brought up in specifically Batman vs. Superman, which I know Zack Snyder put there to go directly into Justice League, which just didn't happen. One being the whole nightmare sequence that we saw, that vision that Batman had when that Flash, that future Flash came back. We didn't get a chance to see what that was really about. So obviously a lot of fans saw that. A lot of fans watched the film more like, what is this? And obviously when we heard that there might be a whole other version of this film around that was intended to come out, fans just took off with it. That's where the hashtag release the Snyder Cut thing came out. About a year after the film came, it really got big. I know that's when like the cast and crew started getting into it, and Zack Snyder even joined it and started like putting out pictures of like behind the scenes stuff or the whole Snyder Cut, and we were all like, shoot, like it could happen. Can it happen? Can we do it? It was whole petitions going out there. People were taking out ad space for it. It was really something. Like I mean, I don't think we've ever seen that. Well, only thing similar would have been for Superman 2, the Donner cut, which obviously didn't get as much attention, but similar by way of the fact that Richard Donner, the one who directed the first one and most of Superman 2, left the production due to having some differences with the production team, but was replaced with Richard Lester, and then in about 2006 they released the Donner cut. So go look that up. So there's some precedent to something like this happening, albeit not the same exact situation. Either way, when it comes to the Snyder Cut, Warner Brothers, I guess, heard everything that was happening on Twitter and social media, so, that's a win for social media when it comes to, fans, and now they're releasing the Snyder Cut, not theatrically, but to bolster their new streaming service, HBO Max, which is very smart. And I believe they're giving Zack Snyder like 30 or 40 million to finish the rest of what he has. I'm also hearing there might not be any reshoots for scenes with like the main cast, so I'm very curious as to what that really means for the rest of the movie. That has me excited and worried. What's supposed to be in this film that wasn't in the original Justice League that was in theaters? So a couple things. Number one, Darkseid. Definitely more Darkseid. You saw that in the teaser trailer. So I guess we're going to get some more mythos on him, as well as Desaad, the Master Torturer. Comic book stuff. Look it up. I'll probably do a video on that as well, about like all the little things that are going to be in there, as well as Iris West, who it was cast by Kiersey Clemens, I believe. They might recast her for the Flash movie, but in the Snyder Cut, it was Kiersey Clemens, as well as Martian Manhunter, who is Harry Lennox. He appeared in Man of Steel as that general, right? So you're definitely going to see quite a few things. Oh, Darkseid fighting Ares, and a possible Green Lantern sighting as well, and Adam as well. So a lot of cool world building, apparently world building for future films as well. So I believe Zack Snyder put in some clues for a possible Justice League 2, which I guess brings me to my next point. If this is successful, what does this actually mean for the rest of the DCEU? If this film is really good, or at least, what would I settle for? So I think it's going to be a better film. Based off of all the details we've heard so far, it sounds like a better film. But what if, as fans, we really just like at least the direction that it's going? Like, we like where this is going. I just need to know, what is Warner Brothers going to do? Like, what's the overall direction the studio is going to take? Because that's what worries me. Because I only see a couple ways this can go. It can either go, hey, thank you for watching. We just wanted to make sure Zack Snyder got his vision out because he didn't get a chance to finish due to what happened with his family. And yeah, so thank you for subscribing to HBO Max. Bye. Which would suck, especially if we get something that we really like. But what if they go, you know what? We like this. We're back in the Zack Snyder business, and we're going to just keep on going with his vision and how the DCEU is going to look under what we hired him back in 2013 to construct. So if they do that, there might still be some problems, right? Ben Affleck is no longer Batman, at least not now, right? Like he's not. Henry Cavill, he was out for a little bit, and now we really don't know what capacity he's back in right now. That's confusing, because if you do go all in, it means you're gonna immediately have to recast that version of Batman, because Robert Pattinson, whichever one that he was, like that young version, that's not the young version of Ben Affleck's Batman. Like, definitely not. You cannot see that Batman standing next to Henry Cavill or Wonder Woman. None of them. You couldn't see that. So what direction are we gonna go in here? Are we gonna like say that the Robert Pattinson or the Batman, that's gonna be its own thing, right? Which I'm okay with. But then what happens with this whole Flashpoint movie that they're making? Because if anyone reads the comics, you understand that Flashpoint is what leads to the New 52, which is the reboot of what we knew about the DC universe at that time. So is that going to be a thing? Like, are they going to set this up just to get reboot somewhere? Like, I'm just confused as to where this is going to go. Like, I would hate to really like something, and then they go, well, this is where we're going anyway. Which, given the history of what we've seen, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, we have a Suicide Squad coming up, which is like a sequel / soft reboot, a Wonder Woman movie, which honestly you can leave that alone because it looks like it's good where it is. You don't have to change anything about it. But then we have like a Shazam-less Black Adam movie coming out, and apparently a Cyborg movie that we need to stop hearing about. So I just want to know, if this is good, like, I hope they go all in. They go all into the vision, and they make this happen in a way where it doesn't seem like they're just going to do Justice League 1, and then maybe Justice League 2, but then crap on it later. And that's really my only thing. So, honestly, that's just my take on the Snyder Cut and what it can mean for the DCU. I am going to make a DCEU, or like the cinematic universe for DC. I'm going to make a whole video on that, and really about what it should have been, really, and where it went wrong currently. And also maybe some things about the MCU and the shows that are coming up as well. So if you like this, like it. If there was something else you want me to see, if you think something that I missed, please write it down in the comments. Please subscribe. And this is Enter the Nerd.